The Apocryphal Revelation. Reincarnation is really true, imagine this. Hidden within ancient texts, often overlooked by mainstream theology, lie mysteries about life, death, and what happens to the soul after we depart this world. Could it be that forgotten scriptures hold secrets about reincarnation and the soul's immortality? The apocryphal books, texts that were excluded from the canonical Bible, have sparked centuries of debate.
Some believe they hold esoteric wisdom that was deliberately suppressed. But what do these writings say about the soul's journey beyond death? And could they suggest something as profound as reincarnation, a concept embraced by other ancient cultures and religions? Let's embark on a journey through these enigmatic texts, exploring passages that speak to the eternal nature of the soul, its divine purpose, and the possibility of multiple lifetimes.
But before we dive in, consider this. What if the story of your life didn't end when you breathed your last? What if it was merely a chapter in a far greater narrative? The Wisdom of Solomon and the Immortal Soul, one of the most prominent apocryphal texts, is the Wisdom of Solomon, which delves deeply into the concept of the soul's immortality. In chapter 2, verses 23 to 24, it declares, "For God created man for incorruption and made him in the image of his own eternity, but through the devil's envy, death entered the world." Here, the text speaks to the soul's eternal nature, suggesting that humanity was originally intended to transcend death. This aligns with beliefs in the immortality of the soul, a concept resonating with both Jewish and early Christian traditions. The book also contrasts the fate of the righteous and the wicked, portraying the soul's journey as a divine reckoning rather than an end. It raises a tantalizing question. If the soul is eternal, does it experience only one earthly life, or could it return for another? Have you ever felt an unexplainable connection to a place, a time, or even a person you've never met? Could this be evidence of a soul that has traveled across lifetimes? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Reincarnation in esoteric apocryphal texts. Think about this. Across ancient cultures, the idea of reincarnation is common, appearing in Hinduism, Buddhism, and even among the Greek philosophers. But does it find echoes in the apocryphal books? The book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, provides cryptic passages that some interpret as hinting at a soul's cyclical journey. For instance, Sirach 14:18 compares humanity to leaves that fall and return. As leaves on a green tree, some fall and others grow. While this could simply symbolize the cycle of life and death, esoteric interpretations suggest it might imply reincarnation, a continuous renewal of life. Another compelling reference comes from 2 Esdras, an apocalyptic text. In 2 Esdras 14:35 it states, "For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest." Does live again refer metaphorically to resurrection, or could it point to reincarnation? In mystical interpretations of the Apocrypha, the soul's purpose is seen as refining itself through repeated experiences. This idea resonates with the Kabbalistic concept of Gilgul Neshamot, the soul's cycle of reincarnation, although Kabbalah developed later. Could the seeds of this belief lie hidden in these apocryphal writings? Have you ever wondered if certain struggles in your life are part of a greater plan for your soul's growth? If so, could these texts hold the answers? Let me know your thoughts below. Deeper analysis of apocryphal symbolism. Think about this. If the apocryphal books were indeed excluded from the canon for their controversial views, what does that say about the themes they explore? Could their insights into the soul's journey have been considered too radical or too mystical for mainstream acceptance? The Book of Tobit offers intriguing reflections on the interplay between divine intervention and the soul's destiny. Tobit 4:19 advises, "Bless the Lord your God at all times and ask him to guide your ways, so that all your paths and purposes may prosper." While this appears as a practical teaching, some interpret it as an acknowledgement of the soul's ongoing journey under divine guidance. The emphasis on paths and purposes might suggest that the soul travels through various stages, possibly across lifetimes, to fulfill its ultimate destiny. Moreover, the angel Raphael, a central figure in Tobit, represents a bridge between the divine and human realms. His role as a guide could symbolize the soul's journey through spiritual dimensions, a theme often linked to reincarnation in mystical traditions. Baruch and the eternal wisdom. The book of Baruch also reflects on humanity's relationship with eternity. Baruch 3:14 says, "Learn where there is wisdom, where there is strength, where there is understanding, so that you may also know where there is length of days and life, where the light of the eyes and peace." Here, the search for wisdom and understanding is intertwined with the promise of length of days and life. Some scholars interpret this as a metaphor for the soul's immortality, while others suggest it may hint at the soul's ongoing quest for enlightenment, a journey that spans more than one lifetime. Have you ever felt that your purpose in life is tied to something far greater than what you can see? Could this longing for meaning be a reflection of the soul's eternal quest? Please share your insights in the comments. The Apocalypse of Peter. Rewards and consequences beyond death. The Apocalypse of Peter, another apocryphal text, offers vivid depictions of the afterlife, focusing on the rewards for the righteous and the punishments for the wicked. While it does not explicitly mention reincarnation, its descriptions of divine justice could imply a broader spiritual process. For example, it speaks of the wicked enduring purifying punishments. Some esoteric interpretations suggest that this purification could occur not only in a single afterlife, but also through successive lives, as the soul learns and grows. Esdras and the mystery of rebirth. Returning to 2 Esdras, the text delves deeper into questions of divine justice and the soul's fate. In 2 Esdras 7:32-35, we read, "The earth shall restore those that are asleep in her, and so shall the dust those that dwell in silence, and the secret places shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them." This imagery of restoration and delivery has been interpreted by some as a metaphor for resurrection. Yet others see it as a poetic description of reincarnation, the soul being restored to a new life on earth. The ambiguity of such passages invites reflection. Was the text deliberately veiled to protect deeper, mystical truths about the soul? Do you believe that the mysteries of the soul were purposefully obscured in these texts? Could they hold the key to understanding life's biggest questions? Let us know your perspective in the comments. Comparative analysis and hidden connections. Imagine this. What if the apocryphal texts were never meant to stand alone, but were instead fragments of a larger universal truth about the soul's journey? By comparing their themes with other ancient traditions, we may uncover patterns that point to a shared understanding of immortality and reincarnation across cultures. The apocryphal writings echo themes found in Egyptian spirituality, particularly in the Book of the Dead. This ancient text describes the soul's journey through trials in the afterlife, striving for purification and eventual unity with the divine. For example, the Wisdom of Solomon emphasizes the immortality of the soul and divine justice. Similarly, the Egyptians believed the Ka, spiritual essence, persisted after death, undergoing judgment and, if necessary, rebirth. Could the apocryphal references to divine justice and restoration reflect a shared ancient view of the soul's cyclical journey? Parallels with Greek philosophy. In Greek philosophy, reincarnation is central to the teachings of Pythagoras and Plato. Plato's myth of air, found in the Republic, tells of a warrior who glimpses the cycle of reincarnation during a near-death experience. Souls are seen choosing new lives based on lessons learned in previous ones. In the apocryphal 2 Esdras, the soul's judgment and restoration align with this idea of returning for further refinement. While the text remains vague, the similarities are striking. Could early Jewish and Christian thinkers have been influenced by Hellenistic thought, blending it with their own traditions? Do you think these connections suggest that reincarnation was a universal belief, later suppressed or reinterpreted? Or is this simply a coincidence? Share your opinion in the comments below. The role of Kabbalistic thought. Later Jewish mystical writings, particularly Kabbalah, expand on the idea of Gilgul Neshamot, the soul's cycle of reincarnation. While these texts post-date the Apocrypha, they provide context for interpreting earlier writings. For example, Kabbalah teaches that the soul returns to perfect itself and fulfill divine commandments left incomplete in previous lives. This concept could shed light on cryptic apocryphal passages like To the Esdras, 1435, which speaks of living again after judgment. Was the Apocrypha an early precursor to this mystical understanding? Have you ever felt a sense of déjà vu so powerful that it seemed like you had truly lived that moment before? Could this be evidence of a soul's past life experience? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Some early Christian sects, such as the Gnostics, embraced ideas of the soul's pre-existence and cyclical purification. Texts like the Gospel of Thomas, though not traditionally classified as Apocrypha, align closely with these themes. For instance, the Gospel of Thomas 84 states, "When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images which came into being before you, and neither die nor become manifest, how much you will have to bear." This cryptic saying hints at the soul's eternal nature and pre-existence, resonating with reincarnation. Did such beliefs influence the writers of apocryphal texts, like the Wisdom of Solomon and To Esdras? Do you think early Christians were more open to the idea of reincarnation than modern interpretations suggest? Could this belief have been intentionally hidden over time? Share your thoughts in the comments. Church councils in the early centuries of Christianity debated what constituted orthodoxy. The Second Council of Constantinople in 553 AD explicitly condemned reincarnation, labeling it heretical. This decision may explain why certain apocryphal books were excluded from the canon. Could this suppression have been driven by a desire to simplify doctrine or to consolidate power? The apocryphal texts' nuanced views on the soul might have conflicted with emerging orthodox teachings on resurrection and salvation. Modern implications and a powerful conclusion. Think about this. If the apocryphal books contain veiled truths about the soul's immortality and reincarnation, what does that mean for how we live our lives today? Could these ancient teachings inspire us to view our actions, relationships, and struggles through the lens of eternity? Lessons from the apocryphal books for modern life. The Apocrypha's recurring themes of divine justice, soul refinement, and the search for wisdom challenge us to reflect on the purpose of our existence. If the soul is immortal, as the Wisdom of Solomon suggests, then every choice we make contributes to our eternal journey. This perspective aligns with modern spiritual movements that emphasize personal growth, karmic justice, and the interconnectedness of all life. The idea of reincarnation, seen in both ancient texts and contemporary beliefs, suggests that life's hardships are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. The apocryphal books encourage readers to seek wisdom, pursue righteousness, and align themselves with divine purpose. If the soul carries the lessons of this life into the next, then every act of kindness, forgiveness, and compassion has eternal significance. If you knew your soul's journey didn't end with this life, how would you live differently? What changes would you make to ensure your soul's growth and alignment with divine will? Share your reflections in the comments below. The modern revival of reincarnation. Beliefs, interestingly, modern interest in reincarnation is growing, with millions of people across cultures embracing the idea of past lives. This resurgence parallels the apocryphal themes of eternal life and spiritual renewal. Stories of children recalling past lives or individuals experiencing profound past life regressions suggest there may be more to this concept than we understand. In this context, the apocryphal books offer a unique bridge between ancient wisdom and modern curiosity. By revisiting these texts, we may uncover insights that enrich our spiritual understanding and connect us to a broader, universal truth. The apocryphal books are not just ancient texts, they are keys to understanding the eternal truth that binds us all. In their messages of reincarnation, divine justice, and the immortality of the soul, we find guidance, hope, and a greater purpose for our lives today. The journey does not end here. It is a continuous cycle of growth, discovery, and connection to the divine. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you believe in reincarnation or the immortality of the soul? How do these ancient teachings resonate with your own spiritual journey? Let's start a conversation. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to continue exploring these mysteries with us. Let us now take a more in-depth look at the main apocryphal books that deal with life after death and reincarnation. The Book of 1 Enoch. The Book of Enoch is a masterpiece of ancient Jewish apocalyptic literature, composed between the 3rd century BCE and the 1st century CE. Although most traditions excluded it from the biblical canon, it held great significance for early Jewish and Christian communities. The text provides a unique perspective on celestial hierarchies, the interplay between divine beings and humanity, and the ultimate destiny of souls. The book is divided into several sections, with the Book of Watchers being one of the most intriguing. It details the fall of the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to earth, mingled with humans, and imparted forbidden knowledge. This act disrupted the divine order and led to their eternal punishment. The notion of a cosmic balance being restored through divine justice forms the backbone of Enoch's revelations. In his visionary journeys, Enoch is granted access to heavenly realms, where he witnesses the awe-inspiring throne of God surrounded by countless angelic beings. These visions emphasize the soul's immortality, as the righteous are depicted as luminous beings dwelling eternally in God's presence. Conversely, the wicked face a grim fate in realms of darkness and despair. While the text does not directly reference reincarnation, its focus on spiritual purification and cosmic justice hints at a cycle of transformation. The imagery of fallen angels being bound until Judgment Day resonates with the idea of a soul undergoing multiple stages of existence to fulfill its divine purpose. The eternal nature of these processes mirrors esoteric interpretations of reincarnation as a means of spiritual evolution. The Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas, discovered in the mid-20th century in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt, provides a fascinating glimpse into early Christian mysticism. Consisting of 114 sayings attributed to Jesus, it diverges from traditional New Testament Gospels by emphasizing self-discovery and the inner journey toward enlightenment. This text reframes the concept of immortality, presenting it as a state achieved through understanding divine truths. In saying 1, Jesus declares, "Whoever discovers the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death." Immortality, then, is not merely the soul's continuation after physical death, but a transcendence of the mortal experience through spiritual awakening. The Gospel of Thomas portrays salvation as an individual, inward pursuit. The sayings encourage the seeker to unify dualities, such as the inner and outer self, to access divine wisdom. Sayings like, "When you make the two one, then you will enter the kingdom," suggest a transformative process that some interpret as reflecting reincarnation. While reincarnation is not explicitly mentioned, the text's focus on ongoing spiritual growth implies a journey of the soul across multiple lifetimes. This gospel's mystical tone invites viewers to reflect. Is immortality a reward for the righteous, or is it the realization of eternal truths, accessible to everyone who seeks divine understanding? The Wisdom of Solomon. The Wisdom of Solomon is a text that harmonizes Jewish theology with Hellenistic philosophy. Written in Greek, likely in Alexandria, it speaks to a sophisticated audience familiar with Platonic and Stoic thought, weaving these influences into a distinctly Jewish framework. The text proclaims the soul's immortality with poetic grandeur. The souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and no torment will ever touch them. This statement encapsulates the belief that life extends beyond physical death. It redefines death itself, not as an end, but as a transition to a higher, eternal state of existence. Throughout the text, wisdom is portrayed as a guiding force that shapes the soul's destiny. The pursuit of wisdom brings the soul closer to divine perfection, aligning with esoteric interpretations of spiritual growth. Although reincarnation is not explicitly addressed, the notion of the soul's ongoing refinement aligns with beliefs in cyclical learning and karmic justice. The Wisdom of Solomon presents an uplifting vision of immortality. The righteous are cherished by God, and their virtues transcend earthly boundaries. It also emphasizes accountability. Our actions in this life ripple into eternity, shaping our ultimate fate. The Apocryphal of Baruch. The Apocryphal of Baruch reflects the struggles of a people exiled and longing for divine restoration. Attributed to Baruch, the scribe of Jeremiah, this text intertwines themes of human suffering, divine justice, and the immortal destiny of souls. A central focus of the Apocryphal is the resurrection of the righteous. In vivid detail, the text describes a scene where the dead rise in glory to inherit the promises of God. This portrayal emphasizes the soul's indestructible nature and its ultimate accountability before divine judgment. Although reincarnation is not explicitly mentioned, the Apocryphal's narrative of spiritual trials and redemption suggests a cycle of growth. The soul's journey, marked by suffering and eventual restoration, can be seen as a metaphor for the transformative cycles that reincarnation embodies. Through Baruch's lamentations and visions, this text invites viewers to ponder the mysteries of divine justice and the eternal nature of the soul. If the soul endures beyond this life, what might its ultimate purpose be? The Gospel of Mary Magdalene. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene offers a rare glimpse into early Christian mysticism and highlights the role of Mary as a spiritual teacher. This Gnostic text reveals profound insights into the nature of the soul and its liberation from material constraints. Mary recounts the soul's ascent through various stages of resistance, each representing a struggle against earthly attachments. This ascent reflects a process of spiritual transformation, culminating in union with the divine. The immortality of the soul is central to this journey. It is portrayed as an eternal, divine spark, striving to return to its source. Though reincarnation is not explicitly mentioned, the stages of purification mirror esoteric beliefs in the soul's cyclical evolution. The idea of shedding material layers to attain spiritual purity aligns with reincarnation as a means of refining the soul over multiple lifetimes. The Gospel of Mary challenges traditional narratives, elevating the soul's inner journey as the path to salvation. Viewers might ask, what lessons could our struggles and experiences in this life hold for the soul's ultimate journey? The Apocalypse of Peter. The Apocalypse of Peter is a gripping and vivid text that portrays the afterlife with stark clarity. It describes the rewards awaiting the righteous in paradise and the torments reserved for the wicked in hell, offering one of the earliest and most detailed visions of Judgment Day. This apocryphal work emphasizes the soul's immortality through its depiction of eternal justice. Each individual's fate is directly tied to their actions on earth, reinforcing the idea of moral accountability beyond physical death. Although reincarnation is not explicitly discussed, the Apocalypse of Peter resonates with karmic principles. The text's focus on retribution and the consequences of deeds aligns with the idea of cyclical existence aimed at spiritual growth. This text leaves viewers with a haunting question. If our actions shape our eternal destiny, how should we live in the here and now? The first gospel of the infancy of Jesus Christ. The first gospel of the infancy of Jesus Christ, often referred to as the Infancy Gospel of James, is a text from the apocryphal Christian literature that focuses on the early life of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and the infancy of Jesus himself. This work is particularly important in providing details about Mary's birth, her consecration to the temple, and her life before the conception of Jesus, which are not addressed in the canonical Gospels. One of the key elements in the Infancy Gospel of James is the depiction of Mary's birth to Joachim and Anne, who, according to the narrative, had been barren for years until an angel promised them a child. This miraculous birth emphasizes the sanctity and purity of Mary as the vessel for Christ's birth. The text portrays the early years of Jesus' life with some fantastical elements, including the miraculous events surrounding his birth. For instance, it mentions the midwife witnessing the virginity of Mary after Jesus' birth. These early traditions were later embraced by various Christian denominations, especially in terms of the doctrine of Mary's perpetual virginity. The work elevates the figure of Mary, establishing her as a key spiritual figure. It reinforces her divine purity and her intimate role in God's plan for salvation. While the infancy gospel of James does not explicitly delve into the themes of reincarnation, its emphasis on divine purification, miraculous births, and the sanctity of the soul can be interpreted as a reflection of spiritual purity and an eternal soul destined for a divine purpose. The concept of a soul being predestined to serve a divine mission, as in the case of Mary and Jesus, can loosely align with reincarnation beliefs found in other traditions, though it is more focused on divine providence rather than cyclical rebirths. Book of Melchizedek. The Book of Melchizedek is not a single cohesive text, but a series of writings and traditions surrounding the mysterious biblical figure Melchizedek. He is first introduced in the Hebrew Bible in the Book of Genesis, 14:18, as the king of Salem and priest of the Most High God who blesses Abraham. The enigmatic nature of Melchizedek led to various apocryphal and mystical writings that expanded on his story. Melchizedek is depicted as a priest-king, an archetype that blends both spiritual and temporal authority. This duality has fascinated theologians, as it foreshadows the priestly role of Jesus Christ in Christian theology. The Book of Melchizedek portrays him as a figure with an eternal, transcendent nature, who was not born of a human mother and father, further enhancing his connection to divinity. The text elevates Melchizedek as a model for spiritual leadership and a precursor to Christ, linking him to the concept of eternal priesthood. This priesthood is seen as more significant than the Levitical priesthood because it is not bound by earthly genealogies. The Book of Melchizedek emphasizes the timeless, eternal nature of the priesthood, suggesting that Melchizedek is not a mere mortal, but a divine being who transcends the physical realm. His role as an eternal figure points to the idea that some souls may transcend human limitations, echoing concepts of immortality and cyclical existence found in reincarnation. However, the text focuses more on the idea of eternal roles and divine functions, rather than the specific cyclical journey of the soul. Pistis Sophia the Pistis. Sophia is a key Gnostic text that contains the teachings of Jesus to his disciples after his resurrection. This work emphasizes Gnostic concepts of spiritual knowledge, gnosis, the nature of the soul, and the journey of salvation. It was written in the 3rd or 4th century and is attributed to the Gnostic sect, revealing insights into the journey of the soul, its struggles, and its redemption. Sophia and the fall of the soul. In Pistis, Sophia, the central figure, is Sophia, who is often portrayed as the embodiment of wisdom. She descends from the divine realm but becomes entangled in the lower realms, leading to her fall. Her journey reflects the soul's descent into material existence and its eventual struggle to return to the divine light. The text describes the soul's journey through various realms, encountering obstacles and challenges as it seeks to return to the divine. The struggle of Pistis Sophia mirrors the Gnostic belief that the soul is trapped in the physical world, longing for liberation and union with the divine. The soul's eventual return signifies salvation, but only through gaining esoteric knowledge. The soul in Pistis Sophia must pass through many stages of spiritual purification, learning profound wisdom in each realm. This process implies the cyclical nature of the soul's journey, where it must undergo multiple stages of purification and learning before reuniting with the divine. Pistis Sophia heavily leans into the idea of the soul's cyclical journey of purification, evolution, and ultimate reunification with the divine source. This directly parallels the concept of reincarnation, where the soul undergoes successive incarnations to learn, evolve, and grow spiritually until it reaches a state of perfection or enlightenment. Gospel, according to Jesus Christ, the Gospel. According to Jesus Christ is a modern work of fiction written by José Saramago, a Nobel Prize-winning author. This novel presents an alternative narrative of the life of Jesus Christ, focusing on his human struggles, doubts, and relationship with God. It is not an apocryphal gospel in the traditional sense, but it offers a profound philosophical reflection on the nature of divinity, humanity, and the soul. The humanity of Jesus. Unlike traditional gospels, this narrative portrays Jesus in a more human light, questioning the nature of his divine mission, his free will, and the burden of his role as the Son of God. The book explores themes of doubt, moral questioning, and the divine plan in a way that challenges conventional Christian narratives. In Saramago's work, God is portrayed not as an omnipotent being, but as a more fallible, uncertain entity who grapples with the creation and destruction of the world. Jesus' relationship with God in this narrative is complex, reflecting the tension between divine destiny and human agency. The Gospel. According to Jesus Christ, does not directly address reincarnation, but does explore deep philosophical questions about the nature of the soul and its connection to divine purpose. In examining Jesus' existential doubts, it invites viewers to reflect on the soul's purpose and its role in the grand cosmic plan, even questioning whether the soul is bound to a singular destiny or whether it is part of a broader, cyclical existence.
The ever-present journey as. We close this exploration, remember this. The apocryphal books are not just ancient texts, they are keys to understanding the eternal truth that binds us all. In their messages of reincarnation, divine justice, and the immortality of the soul, we find guidance, hope, and a greater purpose for our lives today. The journey does not end here. It is a continuous cycle of growth, discovery, and connection to the divine. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through the ancient wisdom of the apocryphal texts. Stay tuned for more insights, reflections, and deep dives into the mysteries of life, death, and everything in between. If you found this video insightful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. The Bible was right, where we continue to explore rich narratives from the past. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our next video. Thanks for your support.